Ladies and gentlemen, the Fallout 76 beta is currently ongoing, to which it is receiving a lot of mixed feelings. In this video I am going to show you what the top content creators have to say about it, as well as what the fans are saying on Twitter and other platforms such as YouTube. Before we get into the first reaction, if you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. One of the biggest controversial decisions in this game has to be the exclusion of human NPCs. Now, I know I have spoke on this before, but now people have had the chance to play the beta. It seems no NPCs may have been a really bad decision for the game and franchise. First reaction comes from DreamcastGuy, who emphasises on the lack of solo play on the game and describes his thoughts on how this has impacted the game as a whole.
But I did find myself a little bit let down that this doesn't even allow the slightest amount of solo play. The developers claim that this is something that you could play on your own if you wanted, but that's really not the case. At all times, I was constantly reminded about the fact that this is an online-only game. And another part of that is the fact that you're never going to see an NPC. There's not really any quest givers or anything like that that lets you kind of sink into the illusion of the fact that this is a normal Fallout world. This is by far the biggest drawback of the entire game.
So they were the thoughts of DreamcastGuy, who said basically this is the biggest drawback of the game completely. Therefore, it is the worst decision and the worst idea in the game. So, as a Fallout fan and stuff, I want to back this up further and shout out to Bethesda saying, we need this. We need more NPCs. Wait, no, we need NPCs in general, not just more NPCs, because we haven't got any. But we need them. We need them in the game for it to be a true Bethesda Fallout game. So, building on the fact of what DreamcastGuy says, here's ESO's thoughts. They're one of the biggest YouTubers out there for Fallout and Bethesda games. Here he goes.
Point number 3. Personally, I found the game a little bit strange with no NPCs at all. And when I say NPCs, I mean non-playable characters. In most Bethesda games, these people would give you quests, you can buy items from them, and you can also kill them. But without them, the world seemed pretty lifeless and dead. I mean, yeah, there were other players running around, but each one of them was either having their own solo experience like me, or they were in a group, chatting on Discord and running and gunning. I found that each quest I did to find somebody just led me to a dead body. I mean, Bethesda put all of this effort into creating these amazing factions that I really want to learn more about, but they're all dead. All of the factions in West Virginia are just extinct. No one exists anymore. It's really rather depressing. And I didn't actually realise that removing the speech roleplay dialogue options from the game would give me such a feeling of loss, but it did. It removed my ability to actually roleplay myself in a fantasy world, which is something I think all people who play Bethesda games really enjoy. You enjoy having the evil option or the good option in those dialogue choices. I think if you want to bring back at least some kind of roleplay element, you should really build a faction mechanic where players can actually join a faction like the Brotherhood of Steel, for example, or the Minutemen. This could literally be as simple as picking a faction at the start of joining a server. Each faction could have its own goals, like the Minutemen, who would get bonus caps for defending other players' settlements from people who attack them. I know the Minutemen are not in the game, but it's just an example everyone can relate to.
Now, to me, what ESO has literally just said has confirmed one of my biggest fears of Fallout 76. The fact of having no NPCs, to me, I was always scared, what is going to happen with the world? What about the backstories? Is it going to feel lonely? Stuff like that. And ESO, in his own opinion, in his video there, literally pretty much stated that the world feels lonely. You feel a bit lost at times because there is no one else there. Yeah, there's like, 12 other players in the world with you, but as he said, they're running around doing their own little thing. They're not there to build a storyline with you. They're not there to send you on a quest. And when he said from the quest he has completed so far, it's just led to finding a dead body, and all of the factions and stuff are dead. And these factions, like he also said, Bethesda have been working for years to build these up, and people love them and hate them, to be fair. Like the Brotherhood of Steel, most people hate them, but without the Brotherhood of Steel, there'd be so much of the story missing. You would have no Elder Maxon, you'd have none of them bits of story, and that bit of faith, and without them, realistically, there wouldn't be this kind of backstory in the game that there's another team, i.e. faction out there trying to rebuild the world. Yeah, I know some people's going to argue the Sims are doing this, but no, there's it's just not right. I don't know, it doesn't feel right, and now I'm really worried about the entire game. Hearing these reactions and these opinions on the beta so far, let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Now we're going to hear from JuiceHead, another giant in the Fallout community, and here is what he's got to say.
Actually have 2 to 4 person co-op in a Fallout game, and it felt amazing. Being able to take down some of those harder enemies with your cooperative efforts and actually reviving each other when you got downed. All around, it was a blast playing with others in a Fallout game, but I don't think anyone was against that. I think a lot of us have been looking forward to something like that for years. And after a while, after my teammate had to go, playing by myself was probably scarier than any other Fallout game thus far. Now, Fallout 4 with the right mods can definitely be way scarier, and if you want to see a video on that, I actually have made one. But just walking through Fallout 76 at nighttime or in some of those swampy regions, I felt isolated and alone, and that's something that I don't think was captured nearly as well in a lot of these other Fallout games. It certainly immersed me in the post-apocalyptic experience, and it did make me kind of frightened in real life. I was way more on edge in that scenario than I was when playing with others, or in some of those more open and vibrant areas. All around, I think this game is going to be a ton of fun, but it's not without flaw, and I think a lot of the issues I took originally are just kind of being confirmed by this third playthrough. There were so many instances where I would go to a location, clear it out, and be like, that's it? There's not like a story here, there's not some kind of holotape or some notes I have to read. Certain locations certainly did have more to them, but take for example one, the crashed spaceship. I thought there'd be an interesting and cool backstory or something super enthralling to do, but walking all the way to that location, I found some cool equipment, which I'll show you guys in a second, but otherwise it was kind of mundane. It looked cool, but there really wasn't more to it. Now maybe there is a hidden layer that I need a quest to activate, but I'm just using this as an example. For several of these locations, it felt like there was almost nothing there. They seemed so hopeful from the outside, but after clearing through it and exploring, you didn't find any cool stories, you didn't find any cool holotapes, you might have found some loot, taking down a few enemies, but then I found myself moving on to the next one. And that wasn't every place. There was actually Abby's bunker I found eventually, and there all of a sudden I got flooded with various different terminal entries, dialogue to listen to, and just a ton of content all at once. But again, just something that really stood out to me, and I think a lot of people watching noticed it also, is as I went from cool place to cool place, a lot of them just felt kind of lacking, like there should have been more content at that location.
Now, although JuiceHead was not specifically talking about not having NPCs in the game, you clearly understand from what he was saying that the world feels empty, just very similar to what ASO was saying, how you can get lost because there's just not much there. Now, you've got to argue the fact that whether if there was NPCs in the game, if this emptiness wouldn't be there. Like, I feel like if there was NPCs included, which there should have been in my opinion, then no one would be complaining about this emptiness. Like, people wouldn't mind about having this open map. Like, I know the map is like, what, 4 times bigger than Fallout 4? Yeah, there should be some emptiness to it, but there shouldn't be the point of being that empty. It just feels lonely and there's not much to do. Like, yeah, you can just explore and explore, but when you find these locations, just like JuiceHead said, there's not much there. Like, he even said that he had a quest where he had to go somewhere, clear somewhere out, and he cleared it out, and then he just stopped and was like, is that it? Is there nothing else I need to do? Is this not leading me to more content? Is this not leading me to another quest? Or am I not trailing down other factions? Stuff like that. So it's a tough one, guys. I really think they may have caused a serious upset in the game by not including NPCs. All in all, after gathering all the thoughts of these top 3 creators, I'm very worried, and I feel like they genuinely might have ruined the game by not including these NPCs. And I've always loved the NPCs. Like, we're not going to have a Mama Murphy, we're not going to have a Preston Garvey, we're not going to have an elder at the Brotherhood, we're not going to have these crazy children of the atom that stand in radiated water and stuff. It's really worrying to me. Like, I don't know how you guys are thinking, but to me this is proper game changing. And after seeing some of the Fallout beta gameplay and not having these NPCs, when I'm watching it, all I'm seeing is people literally just exploring. And I don't know if that's because it is right at the start and people just want to see the map. But it doesn't seem like anyone's actually doing quests or anything. Like, I don't know if that's because no one's enjoying doing the quests, or there's just like nothing to gain from them, so they don't want to do them. Like, yeah, you get this little bit of lore and a bit of background from doing them, but it's very limited without NPCs. So I'm just worried, guys. I'm concerned about the whole no NPCs thing. I would love to hear what you guys have to think on it, but at the end of the day, it's all down to the main man himself, Todd Howard. And just why did you do this, Todd? Just why? Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I will catch you in the next one. If you have not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, and smash a like on the video as well. That would be absolutely amazing. And I will see you guys in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.